What is up, guys? It is Ecos, and I'm back here with another Unity tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to combine parallaxing with my frame switch system, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out the latest version of my frame switch system, the link will be down in the description down below. But I was actually asked to make this video by Melodic Fish down in the comments. He basically asked, is there any chance you could do a video on how you implemented the parallax system and frame switching into my game, which, if you guys haven't seen my game yet, you guys should go check out the devlog series. I believe currently I have 3 episodes. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do this. Basically, I'm going to start in Photoshop. You guys can probably do this on any art program that has like different layers, because you are going to achieve the parallaxing. Unless you're just using shapes and stuff inside of Unity, you're fine. But if you are exporting art from an art program, make sure you do have different layers. Basically, here's how mine is set up. I have mine from the bottom, obviously the sky. So you basically want to go from the farthest layer in the back and have it layered, of course, all the way to where, you know, your very first layer. So I have my sky right here. I have the farthest hill, the second farthest hill, the closest hill, and then I have my like foliage, which is my trees and bushes, and then I have the just foreground grass, which is actually where the player will be walking on. Make sure you guys have your different layers, you know, whatever you have in your background on different layers, and then your foreground, whatever you have in there. And then what you basically want to do is you want to export this all into different layers, which you can actually do with a Photoshop sort of script that I found, which again, that link will be down in the description below. Which actually, when you export it, so if you go down the scripts, I don't have it actually in my scripts folder, so let me find this. Yeah, it's right here. Photoshop export layers to files fast master. Again, the link to it will be down in the description below. You just have to download it and just load up this .jsx file. And basically, it'll export all of your layers. You can select if you want all layers, visible layers, all this stuff. It'll export all your layers into a folder or wherever you tell it to. I'm just going to go ahead and make a new folder. And we'll do tutorial forest. How about that? Tutorial forest. So I'll have it export into there. And basically, again, this exports all of your layers into different image files inside of the folder. And actually, when you drag them into Unity and then you put them in your scene, most of the time it might get a few things confused, but most of the time it'll pretty much put them in the correct order. You might have to rearrange a few things every now and again, but basically you don't really have to change many settings. Just make sure you have everything that I have right here. Unless you want all of your layers, you can choose visible only or all layers. Just really customize what you want and just go to your preferences. But I'm gonna go ahead and run this. So when you hit run, it'll export over into this folder that you set up. So it'll say exporting 1 of 6, and I'll go ahead and skip to when this is over. Alright guys, it is done for me. That really probably took 30 seconds. It really did not take that long. I think it probably depends, you know, how many files you have, how big your actual image is, and all that. You know, once you have your everything exported, you can go ahead and go over to the folder that you set up, and you'll see that each layer that you had it export will be in here. So you have, you know, for me, I have my sky, my farthest hill. Actually, no, this would be my farthest hill, but yeah, it has everything set up in here. And then basically, you want to go and open up Unity. Let's go ahead and do that, and I'll actually skip to whenever I have Unity up and open. Alright guys, sorry to interrupt the video. This is actually me from the future. While editing the video, I realized that I never explained, you know, dragging your layers into Unity and setting them up. So I'm gonna go and do that now. Also, I wanted to apologize that this tutorial was on the longer side of things. I really just wanted to make sure that everything was explained and, you know, everything was easily understood, or at least the best I could explain it to. But we'll just go. Oh, wait, that's a C# script. Oops. Take that out. Go on to a new scene, buddy. Alright, here we go. just gonna go ahead and create a new scene just for tutorial purposes. Go ahead and do that, and then now go ahead and open up your the folder that you exported your layers into. So for me, that was this tutorial forest folder. So we're gonna go and open that up, and then I have this on my screen right here. So just gonna go ahead and take Unity. Let's see if I can do this. Take Unity, and then you can create yourself like a little folder here. I have a little sprites folder, so I'll go ahead and just make a new folder within this folder and do so tutorial layers. And then basically I'm gonna go ahead and take all 6 of these layers, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and drag them in and let them import. There we go. And then you're basically just gonna do this the same for each different like frame that you make. So if you have like different artwork for each little frame, you do that. So what I like to do, so I go ahead and create an empty object, and I'll name this frames. Oh, that's not right. So I'll name this frames. This will be like the main object of every single frame. I'll create an empty object as a child of that. And I'll do frame 1. I'll create another child game object, and then I'll do under this, since I have a forest, I'll go ahead and name this forest. But say you had if you had a city, you can do forest or whatever you want to name it, and then you just drag these in one by one. I'm just gonna start with the sky. We have our oh, that's a little weird. Not seeing. Oh, it has this stupid bright lit thing on it. Okay, that's why. Let me just go ahead, instead of changing all that, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Okay, here we go. So we have our sky, and then we can go ahead and do, I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, and as you can see, it did mess up a little bit and didn't go order, but I'll show you guys how. Second, throw in my foliage here, throw in grass, which is foreground, and now basically you can make different sorting layers that might make it easier for you. See, I have all of these, and I have my player sorting layer. But just for tutorial purposes, I'm going to keep it simple. So for the sky, I'm going to make this the farthest, so I'm going to go -100 in the order layer. And then hill 1, we want to go maybe -10. And then you see these two actually rendered correctly. That is orthographic. I think probably they actually kind of fits the thing there. And then so these two are already in order, but just so I don't have any errors in the future, I'm just gonna go and set this up. So I'll maybe go ahead and set this to -5 till 3. I'll just leave that at 0. Foliage, I can probably set that to like 1. And then the actual grass I can set to 2. You see those are all in order right there. That's all you really need to do, guys. That's all you need to do to set up your layers. And then if you have multiple frames, you do the same thing. So like you create another game object, do frame 2 maybe, and then create another game object. Say this one was supposed to be a city, I do city, and then I put all my stuff under here. And of course you're gonna need to do like an actual collider that your player can walk on. And if you're using Cinemachine, you'll need to set up a actual confiner with your polygon collider. But that should all be explained in my frame tutorials. That's really it. That's all I wanted to show you guys. I just wanted to make sure that this wasn't left out, because I know some people have never done this before, so I just wanted to make sure that everything was thorough, and there wasn't really anything messed or left out. Again, I apologize for the longer tutorial, but again, like I just said, I wanted to make sure everything was easy to understand and thoroughly. But alright, let's go ahead and jump back to the actual tutorial, guys. Peace. Alright guys, I have Unity up right here, and as you can see, I just have my game loaded up here. So basically, I'll show you guys what the system I'm talking about. You guys don't fully know what I'm talking about, so if we go here, wait for the game to load up real quick. Go. We have our little main character here. Kill off these spiders. As you see in the background, there's like this almost basically moving effect, as if you were in sort of a 3D world. Even though it is flat, it's sort of moving. It's creating what they call a parallax effect. And let me just show you what that looks like without. Like, it looks really bad without the parallaxing. Parallaxing is a really nice effect that you can add to a 2D game to really just, you know, add that level of immersion. So if we basically take off that, I think even like games like Hollow Knight, like a lot of 2D games use it. Basically, without these spiders, you see, you know, that just doesn't look even real anymore. Like, it doesn't feel like the character or the game you're playing is even, you know, in a world. It just looks like a flat image, which technically it is, but you know, you want to bring up that level of immersion. Let's go ahead and show you guys how to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and snap over to basically where I just kind of start from scratch. Alright guys, now that you have Visual Studio loaded up with your Parallax background script, leave these top 3 lines and go ahead and just delete everything from public class. And then go on to the website again, make sure you have everything copied with Control-C. So I'm going to copy this whole Parallax background area. Once again, just to make sure I have it, go back into your Visual Studio and then just go ahead and Control-V that. And you are going to have a few errors here just because you don't have the Parallax camera or Parallax layer scripts put in yet, but that will be fixed here in a second. So go ahead and jump back over into Unity and then create another script. Let's go ahead and name this one Parallax Layer. Again, make sure you are naming it the exact same as it is named inside of here. So scroll down a bit and then you'll find this little area that says Parallax Layer, and copy this little area. Make sure you're not copying this entire thing because these two seem to have merged within the same little section. So make sure you're only copying Parallax Layer on its own and not copying Parallax Camera. And again, go ahead and Control-C, hop it back into Visual Studio, reload all. That's fine. Actually, let me go ahead and open up my Parallax Layer script, and then again delete everything from public class and Control-V. That should be it. And then once again, let's create one more script. Create a C# script, and we're going to name this one Parallax Camera. Go and open that one up, reload, sure. Again, delete everything from public down, back over to the website, and copy the Parallax Camera script right here. Go back into Visual Studio, Control-V. That should all be set up. So if you go back to your Parallax background, there should be no more errors. If there are, you should go back and see where you messed up. But that should really be it. We don't have to edit anything. We can just go ahead and leave our editing program, and we can go ahead and remove or exit out of your browser. And now we want to go ahead and set up the scripts. So basically, we want to, so let's just go into our first frame. So I'm assuming that you at least have, you know, 2 or more frames. So go ahead and go into your first frame. If you have everything under here, you want to drop the, where is it? The Parallax background script onto here. But if you have your frame 1 and say you have your empty game objects, like I do your forest that contains all your forest stuff, then you drop the parallax background onto here. Since I have all my layers under this forest game object, I'm going to go ahead and drop the parallax background right on this game object, on this forest game object right here. But as you can see, it's asking for a parallax camera. So basically what I've done Actually, basically what I've done, let me go ahead and backtrack here. So we're going to delete these other cameras because I've made multiple. Go and delete those. And then basically, so most of you guys should just have your main camera right there. You know, not parented on or anything. It's just its own little object. But to make this system work, I'll show you guys the error that I actually got and was super confused by. But to make this system work, you have to have multiple cameras, and I'll show you why. But for right now, let's just go ahead and drop the Parallax camera script right onto this main camera. So we'll have it right here. If it'll let me place it, let me close a few of these, and then we can take that Parallax camera script right there. Again, you don't have to edit anything. Go back over to where you placed that Parallax background script, and then just drag your camera right onto there, and it'll detect the script right there. And then basically what you want to do is go onto your actual art layers. So whether you have, 5 or whatever you have, just start placing layers. Go ahead and drag all of the Parallax layer scripts onto here. So I'm just going to select all of them, and then we're going to drag the Parallax layer script onto them. And as you can see, it'll ask for this Parallax Factor. And that's basically whatever number you set it to. That's basically setting how fast or slow it'll be moving. And how parallaxing works, basically, or how just distance works in general. The objects or whatever is in your background that are farthest away are going to move pretty slow. But everything that is close up to the camera, that is, where the player is going to move pretty fast. Basically, with this system, a higher number means it's going to be slower. 0 means it's not going to move at all, and then anything in the negatives means it's going to move faster. So basically, you want your closest foreground areas probably to be. It doesn't have to be negative because that's going to make it move pretty fast, but it can be on the lower things. But so basically, I'll show you guys how to set this up. So this layer 10 is my sky right here. So this is going to be the highest number, and you don't really want to go on a super high number. That's just gonna kind of make it move super slow. I'll go ahead and set this one to 0.9. I'll have that. And right about here, I have about 7 layers. So again, my sky is 0.9. I'll go ahead and make layer 9, which is going to be my my farthest hill over there. I'll go ahead and jump down to 0.7. We'll go ahead and do that. And then our layer 8, which is going to be my second farthest hill right there. I'll go ahead and make that 0.6. I'll make my closest hill right there 0.5. And then on my foliage or my bushes and stuff, I'll jump down to 0.3. And then right here, layer 5 is basically my actual grass layer where the player is running. So this one, you don't want the area where the player is running, like actually running on, such as the grass, to move. So you can just leave that at 0. But then this layer 4, if you guys look really closely, it's kind of covered up because I have post-processing. But I have this very close layer of grass that's really close to the camera, just kind of for effect. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and set to negative 0.2. So basically, if it's like if it's supposed to be super close to the camera, like ahead of the player layer, then it's probably going to be in the negatives. But most of your stuff is going to be a positive number or 0, according on where it is. But basically, let me show you guys basically what this did. Hit play here. You guys will realize here in a second. You see, it's very glitchy, right? It's very stuttery, and it's just not smooth at all. And I'll actually show you guys how to fix this right here. But as you guys can see, what parallaxing does, which I explained at the beginning of the video, it just creates that nice movement. It's kind of really annoying to see with the stuttering, but it creates this nice movement, you know, that just makes the world more immersive and more lively. But I'll show you guys how to go ahead and fix that stuttering issue if you are experiencing it. So if you are using Cinemachine, which probably most of you guys are, you want to go ahead and go to your actual main camera, and then you want to go to its Cinemachine brain, and then make sure the update method is on fixed update. Mine is already set there, but that's not going to fix it. That's just creates the most smoothest experience. But also, you want to go back into your Parallax camera script. Let me go ahead and pull this over here. And then you see the void update right here. You want to go ahead and change that to void fixed update. And then all you have to do is save it, minimize it, let it compile down here. And then when you hit play, it should be fixed. Let's go over here. As you can see, it is very smooth and nice parallax. It's extremely nice, and I really love this system. A lot of people, I think even Hollow Knight did this. A lot of people achieve the parallax by setting the camera instead of orthographic, which is a 2D camera, to a perspective, which is the 3D camera. So it automatically creates that 3D kind of movement in the distance effect. Or the parallax. But when you set it to orthographic, it scales everything up, and it just kind of messes a lot of things up, and it just doesn't feel natural to me. So I really like the script. It feels nice, and like you're able to customize a lot more, and it doesn't scale everything up, and it's a very nice system. But now that you have all that set up, now you guys are probably wondering, you know, okay, so does this just work when you have the other frames? No, it doesn't. I'll show you guys what happens when you try to go into another frame. So obviously in this first frame, it's perfectly fine. You know, it looks normal. But so basically, actually, we haven't set up the parallax on the other frames. Let's go ahead and go in here again. Do the same thing that you did last time with frame 1. So throw, you know, throw parallax background on the game object. That is the parent of your layers. So parallax background on here, and then if we use this as our parallax camera, and then I'm gonna go ahead and set up all these layers, and I'll go ahead and just fast forward through that. Alright guys, I have all of it set up. So I actually only have 6 layers in this frame. I basically just followed the same rule. You know, farthest frame has the highest number, and lowest one, which is my grass in this second frame, has the low. Yeah, so let's go ahead and deactivate frame 2 here, so this works correctly. So again, let's go ahead and run through here, kill off these spiders right here. Now, and then we can go ahead and head on to the second frame, and as you guys can see, it's all pushed over, and from what I've seen, it's mainly because it adjusts to the camera's position. That's how the code works. So basically, when it, you know, the camera's already moved from its original position, and the camera is set to it as its parallax camera, it tells it to move over. And it doesn't create, you know, it just messes it all up. Basically, what I found as a solution is to create multiple main cameras within the different frames. Basically, you take your first main camera, you go into frame 1, and then you can just go ahead and make this a child of that. And then, you know, you should be able to keep everything as normal. You know, keep this parallax camera as this. We'll go ahead and name this, instead of main camera, we'll go ahead and name this camera 1. As you can see, this is camera 1. And then, so basically, you can, like, just I'll go ahead and Control C and Control V that. And then we'll go ahead and name this camera 2, and we'll drag this under frame 2. Go ahead and activate frame 2 here. But basically, what you want to do, if you look at your the game object of your layers, you'll see it's still set to your first camera. So what you want to do is, again, so as you can see, it already has the parallax camera because it's just a duplicate of the other one. You want to go to your parallax background script and put your second camera in that one. So you don't have to change anything else. The only thing you're doing is in your frame 2 or whatever frame you're working with, just change the camera it's using each time. So same thing with my frame 3 right here. So I'll go here, and actually I have to set up this one as well, which I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do just for time's sake. But again, I would do the exact same thing. Put the parallax background on the parent of my layers. Then I set all the players up with its parallax layer. Then I drag the camera, a camera under here. Say name it camera 3. Then with my parallax background script, I'd set that camera 3 as its parallax camera. But let's go ahead and disable all of these and start with frame 1, and I'll show you guys how this works now. Basically, actually, before we do anything, you'll see that camera 2, if we, let me do frame 2, camera 2, okay, so it actually auto adjusts over there. This should be fine. You just got to make sure that it's coordinated to its correct whatever. Alright, so let's go ahead and head into the game now, and I'll show you guys how this works. Go ahead and head into the game, right? And you shouldn't have to adjust the position of the camera at all, because it'll go automatically into the bounds that are active, because again, it's literally a duplicate of the first camera. It's just being used in a different background. As you can see, this now works perfectly. You can see nothing is weirdly moved. And same thing if we go back to frame 1. So, everything looks fine. It looks very nice except for my weird messes up there. But again, everything works perfectly fine. It looks really nice. And, yeah, it's a really good system. But that's basically how I implement it. Again, if you guys don't have the frame switch system, my latest one, the link will be down in the description below. The link to the Parallax Scripts will be down in the description below. And that's really it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I really hope this was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I hope everyone says it's been going good. If it hasn't, and I hope this video didn't, then I hope you guys can do something today that will make it good. And then you can reflect on today and say it's a good day. So yeah, I'm Z Codes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one. Peace.